How's it going? I would like the opportunity to speak with you. I have a lot to say, but today I want to speak to entrepreneurs that are new, growing, developing, and starting. And also possibly to those of you that are employed as well. I think that all these individuals can get value from what I'm going to say as someone who is a 13 plus year veteran in entrepreneurship and yeah. So I want to start by saying that it is a tremendous blessing and an honor to be able to receive money for a service of some sort. And just from watching it, I know that a lot of people are much more inclined to talk about negative experiences that they have, whether it comes to dealing with employees or with a bad business. And so this is what we hear about. And this is what we share, this is what we talk about, because I guess it's just more impactful. I'm not sure why. And I understand the thought process before it, because it's like a moment, it's a shift. It's kind of like, I heard a comedian once talk about it, and he had said, and I'll circle around, but he said that a joke is, and I'm paraphrasing, but essentially he said the essence of making someone laugh is building up an expectation and then changing it. For example, I'm gonna attempt a joke, but there's a lady walking down 3 flights of steps heading to her car, and she was grabbing the rail for support. And so as she was going, she was holding the rail and she was walking down, and then the rail came loose and she fell off and busted her ass. That's not really funny, but I guess maybe it was funny. It was funny to me, but I say that to say that moment would be memorable, and it would be something that I would talk about, and that's why I feel a lot of the negative things that happen, whether it's a bad employee, whether it is a bad company that you work with, why these things stick, why these things we want to talk about. Just like that joke, it's whenever we hire someone, whether it's an employee or a business to do a service or to provide a product, we have expectations from the communication of that business to getting our product or service delivered. We have expectations, and depending upon our expectations, how they're built up and what is actually delivered to us, not necessarily physical, but physical and also through the service provided. If the service provided or the product given is not equivalent or higher than the expectation that was built in communication between the customer and the service or product provider, then there's going to be a problem. And then that's going to be something to remember. So I want to speak to the small business owners, to those that are out there looking for a job, those that are in the hunt. And if you are able to find someone who has a need, you're able to build that expectation and then meet or exceed that expectation and then get paid for services provided, then that's an honor. That's an honor. And I want to implore you to not take advantage of that opportunity. And I understand there are or may be times where you may be tempted to take advantage of one of those opportunities, and it's just not worth it. I always tell my customers very often with my moving company that I don't provide services just for that job, right? If I get a call right now to go and help someone move from one apartment to another, I, in my mind, am not going out there just to move them from one place to another and then boom, that's it. I get my money, I'm out. What I want whenever I go out there, whether I want to continue working with this person or not, it is my goal to multiply my efforts by going out. I show up on time. I am well prepared. I make sure I make clear expectations. And whenever I go out, I want to meet and exceed expectations. Now, in moving, there's varying expectations, and some are communicated, some aren't. And you kind of got to play a guessing game. And sometimes you need to do that in your business or in your field. I feel like it's taken advantage of too often. But when I go out there, I want that experience. I want to build an experience. When you get a service from me, whenever I do something for you, bring something to you, I not only want your expectation to be met, but I want all of the things surrounding the service provided, the product given, all those things. That's what makes people want to deal with you indefinitely. I have customers that are loyal, and believe me, it is less about the service I provide, because realistically, a lot of people can do the same thing that I can do. Sure, I do it well, I do it great, and I hear it all the time. But there's a lot of other great movers out there. Some charge less, some charge more, some have more, some have less. But what differentiates me from a lot of other people is my clear communication. I ask questions to make sure that we're on the same page. I let customers know what they can do so that we're working together. And I also listen to the customer whenever we're on the call. I listen for the needs. That's kind of my sales training, is I listen for for the opportunities to make an offer to solve a problem. So all these things, I show up on time, I do a good service. During the service, I communicate in a way that I know that people want to be communicated with. And I kind of adapt depending upon what the needs of that specific individual are so that I can meet that expectation, because not everybody is going to want the same thing, and there's so many different variables, and I think about the picture. So whatever it is I do, I make sure that I turn that customer into a fan, that client into a fan. I want them to always, if they have a need or a service or anything and they want somebody, they're gonna get me. Why? Because right now, what is most valuable indefinitely in the world right now and is highly lacking. Actually, I'm gonna say that it's not lacking, but it's not spoken about. But that is trust. People today value highly someone they can trust, someone I can call on, and I know that person's gonna show up on time, they're gonna meet my expectation. Even sometimes, I swear, sometimes I just showing up and giving it your best and communicating, maybe following instructions, these things are the most valuable. Even if you're not the best at the service or providing the product, even if you're not that, if those surrounding elements are there, oh my gosh, I will be loyal to you. Believe you me. This is my philosophy on business. I used to do it without even knowing it, and then I just paid attention. A lot of things in business are going to require self-awareness. You're going to need to pick up on a lot of these things without ever being told, because most customers, clients you work with aren't going to be able to give you a detailed breakdown of why they booked you, why they paid as much, or if or why they would be willing to pay more, what else they would want to pay you for, etc. These are all things that a customer, that a client traditionally won't be able to tell you about, that won't be able to give you that good of review. Now, not the good review, well, sort of a review, but not in the sense that I think was received. Give you a full review, meaning they could break down your service and kind of maybe move some things here or there. Like, oh, it was a great experience, but I wish you would have da 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 da. And then kind of go down from there. Which honestly I think would be a great service. Just kind of bonus to this video is that would be a great business, and I guarantee you. And I actually thought about, with my consulting business, I thought about adding it as a service. It's just a hard thing to communicate because it kind of seems almost like something, and there's a lot of these things that need to be taught to the market that are valuable but are not identified as being valuable because so many people feel like they could do it themselves. And by this I mean is whenever I was starting off, And even sometimes now, it would be nice to have someone like myself because I'm able to do this. I could do this with any business, any product. I can break down what I like about it, what I don't like about it. I can also step out of being just me as an individual and kind of judge what I think either a demographic or a certain type of individual would like or dislike about your product, the experience you're providing. That is invaluable because if you can have those questions answered without having to go through guessing, oh, even if because it might not even be 100%, it might not even be 100% spot on. Like if I give a review of, I don't know, a speaker company, like a Bluetooth speaker company, right? And I have, looking at one of my Bluetooth speakers, but I'm a music lover. And I may be able to give a review for me and maybe for a few different, but I'm not gonna hit the nail on the head. But if you, as the Bluetooth speaker company, have something to go off of, something to play with, some specifics to kind of maybe put in your mind, and then that paired with your experience of dealing with your clients, your customers, hearing feedback or not hearing feedback, what you can kind of tweak, that's valuable. That's valuable. Employees. Commonly, employees have very little to no feedback on where they can grow, develop, unless those employees ask the right questions. It's very hard, like the communication, because nobody knows what they want. They just want it done. And that applies not only employer to employee, but employee to employer, and also from business owner to customer. There's so much communication that needs to go on. And it's a process. You know, there's steps. You can't just expect people to jump where you are. You got to work with where people are and then kind of taper up or taper where you need to go and then go from there. I think that too many people just in society do that. They expect people to drive the way that they drive, to believe in their views the way that they believe in their views. That there's a lot of that going on. Now, I'm not going to say everybody, because I really hate when people do that. And the reason why I'm laughing is because I don't like putting everybody under the same branch by saying, oh, people are bad. No, it's not people, it's individuals. Now, there's a lot of individuals, but it's just easier to say people. But if you realize that you're putting so many people under that umbrella whenever you make a statement towards people, then it's, you know, it's starting to dilute. It's just not a good thing. It doesn't help anybody. Now, if you want to speak to an individual that you dealt with, or if you want to say that, in my experience, the individuals or the people that I met, this is just a suggestion. I just think We gotta stop throwing everybody under the same umbrella, because I guarantee you, someone under that umbrella, you could probably connect very heavy to, you know. So, anyway, this was, I guess, a rant, and I think I'm gonna stop. I could go all day, but especially if I had someone to like kick back with. But yeah, so I wish you all a good day, and maybe I'll make another one. I don't know. But have a great day. I will end on this just because it's fresh on my mind. I observe people, specifically people that their actions tell me that they are meant or want to do way more with their life, but they operate at a plateaued level, right? And they may have a spike here and there, but it kind of hurts me because a lot of the people that I watch, I kind of connect with them because I too do that. And I too am in that realm. It's hard to step out. Once you have a comfort zone, even if you raise the comfort zone little by little, and that's okay if you want to take your raises and then peak off and then raise and then peak off and then do it safely and comfortably. That's just not what I'm about. I sometimes am forced into a peak or a plateau. But I just want to say that I urge you that if you feel like you are living below, I guess I'll just say below, where you feel like you should or can or want to be, that I want to suggest that you use self-awareness to kind of catch yourself, because I guarantee you that you have certain habits, you have certain comfort zone, a cycle of action. And that cycle of action is very comfortable. And it's intriguing to keep going into that cycle. But in order to make it to a next level, whatever that level may look like to you, that you break that cycle, even at the slightest bit. If you break it a little bit, you'll start training yourself, and then you'll free up. You may have a big action that you want to do, something like a big leap. Maybe start with some small ones and then work up to it. Because what I do often, and I still do this, I'm working through trying to grow out of this, but I will have a sprint. I'm a sprinter in my productivity life. And what I'll do, I'll think of something that I want to do. And once I muster up enough confidence, enough whatever, or enough pain from my current cycle, that I'm like, boom, screw this, let's go. and I'll spend a whole day, maybe even a couple days, and I'll knock out more than your average person would do in a week or maybe even 2 weeks. I can really bust out a day or two. Oh my gosh, yes. What I'm working on now is getting a human level of activity daily, stepping out of that cycle, that comfort cycle, and making a slow climb. You know, I of course, as a sprinter, I want to go up. But we gotta work realistically. I'm a very future driven person. It's funny, I was about to wrap this thing up, but here we go. Yeah, so I could keep going. I just don't. I feel like I'm rambling at this point, so I'm just gonna end it. I hope all y'all have a great day. I hope this was valuable. Just let me know if this is valuable. I'm definitely gonna record something else just because I have a lot to say. And I like this format, you know. I know there's a very like official way of saying it, but I like having a candid recording. No pretty editing, none of that bullshit. You know, it's not scripted, as I'm pretty sure you could tell. But I wish you all great success. And this time I'm serious. I am about to end the video. So